Yo, what is going on? And welcome to another episode of the Urban Pitch Podcast, the beautiful game of life, part of the Believe Network. I'm Ramsey Abushala, editor of UrbanPitch.com. Julio Monterosa, executive director of Vibes in the building. What's going on, Julio? How we doing?
Man, what a long day, but we out here, man. We out here.
Yeah.
A little upset.
Long day, a little upset. We're just coming off of, it is a Thursday afternoon here, and we're just coming off of watching the United States men's national team lose again to Panama in the CONCACAF Nations League. Not the result that we were expecting. I think a lot of people were already talking about the potential of going up against Canada or Mexico in the final. And once again, overlooking Panama, who have knocked us out of quite a few tournaments now. I don't know. We haven't really had much time to think or react about the loss, but knee-jerk reactions from you, Julio, after that game, because we were a little bit upset watching that.
Definitely. Reem backed off of the player. Don't get it. Scully was a little behind. He was dropping back, but great shot from the guy. I don't know why he wanted to go hug Henry. And
I think that was a cool little celebration running over to the broadcast table where Thierry Henry was sitting, said something to him. Clint Dempsey was right there. But I don't know what he said. Maybe it'll come out in the next couple of days.
Maybe he probably because they were doing the pregame for CBS. So
yeah,
I'm pretty sure they were like, Panama's not no.
Could have been a watch. Keep your name out or keep my name out of your mouth type thing. I don't know.
He pointed at him he
pointed at him, but then he hugged him.
Yeah,
and you have to think that he idolizes a player like Henry. But we'll see if Thierry has any insight as to what went down or if he keeps it private. But
disappointing.
Yeah, it is a little bit of an embarrassing loss because this is we had our full roster there for the most part. I mean, a few injuries, but I mean, still, man, like this is the second time in a row where a full roster team loses to Panama in a tournament, if you want to call it I mean, I think it is a major tournament, and even though it doesn't have like the prestige of a Copa America. This is a big. This is Pochettino's first major tournament as U.S. men's national team manager, and to go out like this is supremely disappointing. And you mentioned Scally and Tim Ream, the defenders, but from an offensive standpoint, there was really not much going on. Josh Sargent was nowhere to be found. I think Pulisic did not have a very good game at all. Tim Weah was really the only one making noise on the sideline. He was, going 1v1, making, plays. He had a couple of good shots on target, but I mean,
Tyler Adams at the last shot.
Yeah, sure they were parking the bus on us, but I mean, you would think that the players of that quality would, so-called quality, would be able to break through something like that.
Yeah, no, it hurt not having a real forward.
Yeah,
because
number 9 striker type. Yeah.
Yeah, but even though forget the guy's name from Charlotte that came in,
Patrick Aguiman. Yeah,
he came in, had 2 good chances.
Yeah,
couldn't convert.
Yeah.
We're in dire need of a forward that, and it's crazy because the U.S. is usually known for their forwards. From Clint Dempsey, prior to him, what was the number 9 that played at Fulham as well? Forget his name. McBride. I'm sorry,
Brian McBride.
Brian McBride. So we come out the door. We come from the country, even though we didn't have a solid team around it, but we always had a great forward that can score. And now we have everything but that good forward that can score. And it's crazy. It's upsetting having all this hype about this team, talking about how, there's a team we have a chance to win the World Cup. No, the hell we don't.
Yeah.
It showed today. We can't beat Panama. Of course, they parked the bus. They had all 10 players defending plus the goalie, the 11th. But the amount of talent, I was looking at the roster. It's all like Mexican League MLS guys.
Yeah.
We got European guys playing at the highest teams, AC Milan's, Juventus.
Today's episode is brought to you by Bet Online. Bet Online is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for betting on all the madness. Whether you're a seasoned fan or a first-time bettor, Bet Online is your ultimate game day companion. With the largest selection of odds on everything from college basketball to a $200,000 bracket contest, Bet Online continues to be your number one sports betting source. From every Cinderella story to every hat trick, Bet Online has you covered with odds, stats, and more for every game, every play, and every win. Bet online, the game starts here. Yeah, and I think now it goes beyond like, okay, we have guys playing in Europe. Now I think we
have the coach. Yeah, I wanted a coach.
Yeah,
what more do you
guys
want?
It's not that. It obviously isn't that because we can't figure out a way to beat, I mean, shout out to Panama. Panama beats us more times than not, it seems like.
It shouldn't be like that.
And they're very scrappy, very physical. Their backline, we were talking about, they got like 6'5" center backs.
Yeah.
That, they got the Twin Towers back there. And it like, shout out to them, but still, like, you think a front line with guys of the quality of Christian Pulisic, Timothy Weah, like a midfield with Weston McKennie and Tyler Adams and Yunus Musa in there, like, you would think that we would be able to come up with something a little bit more inspiring than that. And we had a couple of chances, like you said, with Patrick Aguimeng, and I think he's a really cool story.
Yeah.
I love that he's really come on with Charlotte after being a draft pick and like just blossoming into a really, really quality player. A couple of good chances for him, just couldn't find the mark. And, Panama, like, they maybe had the ball for, 20 minutes total of the game, and they get the best chance out of all of us.
Yeah, one shot coming from the left side of the 18, not even the center shot. I was with an angle. Pelusic lost the ball. Yeah. We got caught. Yeah. We got caught on our heels, and like that ball, before that ball pass went to the side, it should have been pressured a little stronger than what it was.
Yeah. And I mean, you mentioned the number 9 issue. This has been a major talking point because I think it's been a position of need for us going back to the 2022 World Cup. I mean, Folarin Balogun is has been the saving grace, or I don't know what you want to call it, when he chose the U.S. over England, but he hasn't really been consistent in terms of being able to stay healthy. He's out with another injury, which is why he wasn't part of this roster. Haji Wright is another name that's been thrown out there.
Haji had a brace like a week and a half ago. 2 weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken. Like,
they have him playing on the wing now, so it's like, I mean, he has the size of a number 9, but it just being able to find the net, that's, they always say that's like the greatest skill that you can have. And right now, I mean, that performance from a team that has a lot more, the bar is set much higher from where they're playing. And again, we see ourselves exiting a tournament way earlier than expected.
As a U.S. fan, when do you stop this hype and just start getting disappointed? Because this team has had a lot of hype year after year. It's been 5-6 years of this fake hype.
Right. I mean,
when does hype become potential?
Golden generation type thing. I mean, it's all been potential. Not all of it has been actualized. There has been a handful of performances. I think the first half against England at the 2022 World Cup, as well as the first half against Wales before they blew it in the second half. Those are two like performances where they came out of the gate and you're like, okay, this is what our team should look like. They look dynamic, they look fluid, they're attacking with conviction, they're defending, like. And since that tournament, which is crazy to think that's 3 years ago, I don't really know how many times I've watched that team and been like, this is exciting. Like I'm happy. I'm enjoying watching this team. And I mean, we weren't at full capacity with the injuries, but that's not an excuse. It's not an excuse.
We should have had enough team to beat them. But even though I'm more sad than disappointed, just as a U.S. fan. But as a U.S. fan, I'm also disappointed on the turnout. How are you gonna have that for the U.S. in our home soil? One of the World Cup stadiums that was fighting for that final, have that looking like a JV game.
Yeah,
it's like 10 people in the stadium.
So, first let's give a little bit of context to that. So the game was here in LA at SoFi Stadium, 4:00 kickoff, part of a doubleheader, first game of the doubleheader between of the CONCACAF semifinals. So USA Panama at 7:30. The second game, the primetime game, Canada and Mexico. I think, but by all means, that's the better game out of the two. But you would still think that with it being in our home country, that we would get the primetime game. I understand why they did it. Of course, the Mexico fans are gonna show out, and probably even more so than the U.S. fans if the things would have switched. But at the same time, it's like it's a little bit of a not insult, but I don't know what. Like, it's kind of crazy to think that we're getting the first game, the JV game, before the varsity guys get on at 7:30 under the lights.
The disrespect.
4 o'clock, like you're not. There's no way you're getting to SoFi at 4 o'clock, especially with people working. You know, people got jobs. But it did look like it filled out towards the end there, especially. I mean, there's photos of like the national anthem where, I mean, it looked like there's 12 people there. Yeah, definitely. But you know, towards the end of the game, it definitely filled out. And you could tell
upsetting.
The energy upsetting at the stadium was higher towards the end of the game. But I mean, a 4 o'clock game is kind of crazy. I don't know why they did it like this. You know, I think the doubleheader is kind of cool, but to do a doubleheader on a Thursday afternoon. Like, do it on a Saturday if you're going to do a doubleheader. That way, you know, you can get people there. Like, that's just bad planning on the tournament's part. I understand that, you know, the international break is what it is, and they need to get these games in. But
the thing is, like, you want to grow the game. You talk about growing the game in the U.S. Football, soccer being the biggest sport in the world. Having all this conversation about the last 8 years, we're going to come here, we're going to grow the game. We're growing the game, bringing Messi to the MLS. But how can you grow the game if you're not giving a chance to new fans to come and join and love the sport, love the U.S. soccer team? We all know LA, traffic in LA. You could be 3 miles away and it'll take you 45 minutes to get in there.
Putting a game at 4 o'clock on a Thursday afternoon, that's just like I could have told you that. You know, I have zero experience in urban planning or scheduling like matches like that. But I mean, it doesn't take a genius to think that to realize that 4 p.m. on a Thursday, nobody's going to be there.
Even LAFC did the correct thing, making that LAFC Miami game at 8:30 p.m. because thinking of Messi might be coming.
Yeah, so you can't do a doubleheader on a weekday. As I understand, there's
or
probably
a 5:30 game. Give it a chance, like
5:30 and 8:30. But I mean,
there's no support for the team. That you want the U.S. to do great things, but you can't even get their own fans to support them because you're scheduling them to a point where you gotta choose one: go to work or go watch the game.
Yeah.
So,
and I mean, it's expensive out here.
It's expensive out here, man.
So we don't know the outcome of Canada-Mexico because right now they haven't kicked off yet.
Canada's gonna win.
Okay, but I think going into this, I mean, I'm guilty of it too. Like I was thinking, like, yo, no matter who wins that game, it's gonna be a win for us because we get to either play Canada, which has been this huge budding rivalry with Jesse Marsh as the head coach, or Mexico, which is always chaos and always, you know, primetime entertainment when U.S. and Mexico face off. Now it's just like we're on at the kids' table playing the third place game, and it's just extremely disappointing.
I'm a hater. I want Canada to win.
Canada,
I'm such a hater.
I like Canada too.
I'm just a hater because I don't want the Mexican fans to be happy. I'm a hater, yo.
Yeah. I mean, you know, fair point. So now you have the Gold Cup coming up. That's the next tournament for the U.S. Normally, this is the quote unquote B roster because a lot of the European guys for the Gold Cup have club team duty that it's usually like right before the season starts. I believe like towards the end of the summer once they're starting to get into preseason camp and stuff. So they're not always available to play. Do you think that they should bring at least a few more A-list players or A-list rostered players for the Gold Cup now that they've bowed out early of the Nations
League? No, we have. I would like them to bring like a under 23. Like we have a lot of European talent that is young in Europe right now. Give them a chance. Give them a chance to see what they can do, and then with a combination of the best MLS players. Because if we're gonna bring MLS players in, we gotta see what they got. We got to give them a chance because whether we like it or not, even though we have a lot of our young players are not fully developed yet, and then it's a big gap between the young talent and the more established, like the McKennies, the Pelusias, like 25, 26.
Yeah.
So
26, 27 now.
26, 27. So I think the Gold Cup should be used for the future for see what we're gonna have. So bring that young talent in and give them a chance to try to get a tournament for us.
Yeah, so the last Gold Cup, we lost to Panama in, I think, the semis in penalties. I honestly thought this game was going to go to penalties with the way things were looking, with the way Panama was parking the bus, and but I don't know. I'm at a constant state of confusion when it comes to this team, because I want them to succeed so bad, but then when you watch them play and you're so disappointed time in and time out, it's growing extremely increasingly frustrating. I can't even speak right. To watch this team.
Yeah, and I think is the media, the disrespect that they give these Central American countries, and of course as a player, the U.S. probably walked in thinking they already had won the game before they played it. And something about these Central American teams, you can, we've had different players say that you go to these Central American countries, it's hard to play.
Yeah,
they're physical, they're dirty, it's their World Cup.
And we saw that. I mean, Panama, they played a very physical, very they were the more physical team, and another thing that people talk about is playing quality competition, because obviously in the CONCACAF region, quote unquote, it's hard to find top level talent. Or top, you're not playing in the UEFA Nations League. It's Croatia and France were playing today.
Yeah.
Spain and Netherlands were playing. It's you get these A-list level teams, and they're playing them on a regular, consistent basis during these international breaks. And for us, it's hard, because even if we get into the South American teams, if we get to play, in Argentina, Brazil, Uruguay, that's very few and far between for a friendly. And you always say okay, the manager has to schedule these high level games. They need to do that, but if we want to do that, we gotta play. We gotta beat our CONCACAF teams first, right now.
Take care of home.
Yes. So they were maybe playing with the fruit a little bit. Maybe not. They didn't have the intensity, or they weren't locked in. I don't know what it was, but man, it's really tough to watch. And this is back-to-back major tournaments where we're losing to Panama. Number one, number two, exiting way earlier than expected.
Yeah, definitely. No, now thinking about it, Gold Cup. Bring the whole roster back. Yeah, had enough rest.
Yeah.
We cannot say how tired you are. You had enough rest. You didn't win a trophy. Come back. Now y'all got to get it back.
So that's part of me agrees with what you originally said with, get the young guys some experience, see, maybe test out a few more names that you wouldn't when Pochettino first came on, he brought on guys like Gianluca Buzio and Tessman, and Tessman was part of the roster this time around. Maybe even bring, some of the guys that they brought in for the first time, like Diego Luna, even Aguimang, or what was the guy from Houston? What was his name again? McNeely or something like that. I forget it. I can't think of his name. But he got on towards the end of the match there. So I like that, but I also want to see us win because losing is contagious, man. It gets contagious where all of a sudden you get used to losing. You don't know that killer mentality. It goes away quickly. And there was a stretch, I think it was under Berhalter, where, we were winning Nations League, we were winning Gold Cups, Mexico, they did not have a chance against us, and you saw that kind of expectation to when we play CONCACAF opposition, we need to win. Definitely. And that kind of has disappeared since that 2021, 2022, I think it was 2021, where we really kind of swept the board. And beat Mexico in back-to-back finals. That mentality, I did not see that there, and I haven't seen it in quite some time.
And if you're making us an excuse, they're playing CONCACAF, this is not going to change if they go to a World Cup and play better teams. So don't fool yourself. We have to figure this out, and we got to figure it out by yesterday.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on here to another maybe major tournament. So Nations League, it's kind of like a major tournament, but it also kind of isn't. It's kind of one of these things that FIFA just kind of threw in there and said, this is, we want less, international friendlies, and we want more competition, which I understand, but also it's you can't force a competition on people and expect them to be, fired up for it.
Yeah. And
that's kind of how I feel about the upcoming Club World Cup coming to the U.S. Less than 100 days. The summer's coming up fast. And I don't know what the hype level is like for if there is a hype level for like the casual sports or even soccer fan. Like, I mean, we're in soccer, we work in soccer, like we should be amped for this. I don't even know how hyped I am for it.
I wasn't. I was like, eh.
Yeah.
But then realized like the money has gone up.
Okay.
Now the teams are gonna get invested. Like, especially like if you're River, Boca, Palmeiras, Flamengo, yeah. These teams that are lower teams like that was it? It'll be a quarter of a billion.
So it's $1 billion total in prize money, and then there's $250 million that it's going to be like they call it not a hand-holding fee, or they call it a solidarity fund. Yeah. So $250 million going to other teams outside of the tournament to kind of boost, so it's not just the top teams getting the money, but the total prize money for this tournament is $1 billion, which is more than double of the previous 2022 World Cup, which was, I think, $440 million. So yeah, go ahead. Keep going.
So that's what I'm saying, like a Real Madrid, a Barcelona, I don't know if Barcelona's in it, a Real Madrid or bigger teams, they probably don't need the money as badly as was a lot of money.
Barcelona needs that money.
Yeah, so Barcelona does need that money. But like I'm saying, like the lower teams, Benfica, even the Bayern Munich, like the teams are up there. But I think it's gonna start off slow. But once you see the hype, like these people want the money.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be great. I think if the fans from different countries come, like I think it will bring an atmosphere, and it might not be at the level of the World Cup, because when the World Cup happens, these fans invade countries.
Yeah.
So hopefully it could be like a 40% to give like the casual fan a taste. Like these guys are nuts. Like right. And then so they can see what real soccer fandom is in other countries.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I hope that the fans of these clubs, you know, your River Plate, your Boca, Flamengo, and even some of the European teams.
Fluminense?
Yeah. That are coming over. I hope that they bring that flavor and they bring that intensity, because I don't think that the American, like Real Madrid fans, let's say, I don't think like an American Real Madrid fan is gonna be like going all out as much as, you know, Argentinian Boca Juniors fan would, you know. I think that they'll be excited for it because they're a fan of Real Madrid, but I just don't think that the American fan connection to their teams is the same as it's when it's your country. So I do hope that the travel is high and that, you know, a lot of fans come through to LA, because number one, that just makes for a more exciting atmosphere. The fan fest, the pregame tailgates they're all going to be much bigger and better. But number two, it adds to the overall hype of the tournament, which you know, I'm not entirely sure if it's there yet. The money also helps, but also the schedule is so congested, and you know, teams are understandably concerned about the health of their players. And, you know, you see a player like Rodri who was talking about going on strike and then tears his ACL. So there's already been, you know, a lot of talk about the amount of games that teams are playing per year, and this is only going to add to that. So I just hope that it's a quality tournament. And that, to me, that's going to be the number one indicator of the success of the tournament, is how good of soccer is going to be played. Because if it's a sloppy tournament, man, and FIFA's putting all this money in, then it's just all going to be for waste, and nobody wants that.
But if you're a casual fan, there's a big fan group of Borussia Dortmund here in especially in SoCal, which I went to a bar. It was all Borussia Dortmund fans. Mm-hmm. So try to go to a Borussia Dortmund game. Try to go to a Real Madrid. Try to go to a River, Boca. If you go to Chelsea in the East Coast, I'm pretty sure it's not gonna do you wrong. So there's a lot of great teams coming, man. And Seattle is screwed. I look at the group. Yeah. PSG, Atletico Madrid, Botafogo.
Yeah. So let's talk about the MLS teams that are going to be in the in the tournament. So Seattle and Miami. Seattle they did get the short end of the stick in terms of the group. So Botafogo, Atletico Madrid, and PSG. Pretty daunting group.
Seattle's getting 0 points.
And then Miami, they have I think they have Sporting Portugal, Porto, and Al Ahly. I think. Hold on, let me see. No, Palmeiras. Sorry, Palmeiras, Porto, and Al Ahly.
That's Palmeiras?
Yeah. That's their.
No, that's
Palmeiras.
That's Palmeiras. All right,
Yeah.
Al Ahly, yeah.
Yeah, Ahly. Al Ahly. So a little bit of an easier group there. Not to slight any
crazy.
of those teams.
Palmeiras.
Palmeiras sleeper I'd pick for the tournament. I think they have a really solid squad. They're selling players like crazy. And Porto too. Porto, I think. Were they in Champions League this year? Yeah, Porto was in Champions League this year. So, but not slouches, but definitely not PSG or Atletico Madrid.
I do feel like Palmeiras and Porto are going to be the ones getting out of that group.
Yeah.
But Miami does have a chance to beat Al Ahly.
Al Ahly, yeah.
Al Ahly over like Seattle has Botafogo, Atletico Madrid, PSG. Like,
that's a tough, shouts to Seattle. And Seattle won the CONCACAF Cup, Champions Cup, sorry. And Miami got in because on an invitational basis.
Because FIFA loves Messi.
Do you think Messi plays in this?
He has to. They just gave him a freaking free ticket. Like, let's do it on merit. No, we're American. We're gonna just invite our most hyped team. That's crazy. Let me give my nephew a job.
MLS season's long. Leagues Cup is going to be in the middle of it, and I think he's going to play in Leagues Cup. What are the chances that he is healthy enough to play?
He didn't travel with the Argentinian national team this break. But I just feel so bad for Seattle. That is funny.
Yeah. That's. You take a look at some of the tougher groups, and this is one of them. I think Bayern with Benfica and Boca Juniors is another one. It's not going to be
that Borussia Dortmund. No, it's just Borussia Dortmund, Flamengo, Fluminense. Sorry.
Yeah.
Man City,
Juventus. That's another group, But so today's podcast is also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy, the easiest place to play fantasy sports. Use our code URBANPITCH, that's one word, no spaces, to get a free pick and up to $1,000 in bonus cash. We're going to start playing their Pick'em game, where you can make picks on your favorite players and teams. All you have to do is pick whether they'll go higher or lower than their expected stats. We'll share our picks here and on social media channels, and you can play along with us. Let's make watching sports even more fun with Underdog Fantasy. So I'm excited to see what the tournament is going to look like. I don't know if I'm excited for the tournament itself, but it'll be cool to have some games here in LA. We're getting River or Boca?
We're getting River here, which is gallinas, gallinas feas.
Where are you going? Are you going to go somewhere?
I was planning to go to Miami to go watch Boca Juniors because Boca is the best team ever.
Yeah, that's why you've been at the gym.
Yeah, but I know the tickets, man, you guys, horrible, dude. Like, the tickets were pretty cheap, so they were not selling.
Tickets are cheap?
They were. So they weren't selling, and out of nowhere, they skyrocketed to like 350 nosebleeds.
Yeah.
So, but I'll be supporting la 12. Gallina, decime cómo se siente jugar la Nacional. River. I'll probably go watch a River game out here, though.
Yeah.
Hopefully I don't get beat up.
Nah, as long as you don't, you got to be smart about it.
No. Backstory, my uncle's just a big Boca fan, so I grew up in that. But yeah, no, man, like, it's going to be fun. River's going to be out here. I know my friends already, the group chat is already going crazy on me, like, let's go. But just seeing like their fan group coming in, like the emotion, the passion that River Boca fans bring to soccer is going to be fun. Like, I definitely highly recommend to go watch one of those games and try to be around their fan base, because you're going to have an amazing time.
Yeah. Yeah. So the fan, I don't know, like, obviously, we're still some ways out. I don't know what the fan bases are going to look like in terms of travel, but even the, like, when Club America plays here, like, the Club America fans go crazy, and those are the fans that are based here in LA. So you see these, like, international, like, it's not the same when like those summer tours that come here, but still, like, you see the Barcelona fans going crazy, you see the Juventus fans, like, go crazy. Like, people love to watch their teams play, and anytime that even if it is it's going to be a step up from those summer tournaments or summer exhibition games. So with stuff on the line, hopefully the players and the teams play to the expectations of that FIFA's putting on them, with all this money that they're spending, because and from a infrastructure part for the organizers, this is going to be an interesting way to kind of test run it, and work on things and see what works, see what doesn't for the World Cup next
I
summer.
like this. I've been asking for this type of tournament for a while. Like, let's like a lot of talk of like top 5 leagues. Let's put it to the test.
Yeah, and I think the South American teams are going to be the more entertaining teams to watch, because that style of football is much different than it is in Europe, and it's really, really fun to watch. Like Copa Libertadores is one of the most fun tournaments to watch.
Paced,
physical,
like
crazy,
as hell.
like passionate. And I know I'm not worried about them bringing the heat. I'm more worried about the Man Cities and the
Real Madrid. No, but if they come in like they won the tournament, they're gonna get smacked.
Yeah.
These teams are good teams, and they're not gonna play. They're gonna. This is their World Cup.
Yeah.
For them, the brew like.
Yeah.
Man City, Real Madrid might be worrying about champions, but no, these guys are worrying about that tournament. They don't have a champions, so this is tournament to show like how good are we against Real Madrid, the creme de la creme.
Yeah.
So yeah, but if you want to make sure that what game's gonna be good, check the nearest hotels and motels around the stadium.
For real.
If they're sold out, it's gonna be a good game. It's gonna be packed. So
yeah. Just do a quick availability check, or see maybe even do a drive-through and see if you see any bumper stickers or anything like that.
Yeah, and don't get an Airbnb in a street called MLK, because usually the hood. Tip of the day for my foreigners. You don't want to get caught on Crenshaw slots and thinking it's going to be safe.
Yeah, I mean, that's a whole nother thing. And I do think that the organizers and the hospitality, when it comes to hotels and things like that, I think they're doing a good job of, kind of telling people where to go and where to stay, and in proximity to, places like SoFi or, in New Jersey, where at MetLife and in the Meadowlands, I think they're doing a good job of
yeah, SoFi has a big hotel opening up right next to it, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's a hotel.
So they want to make that like a mini city and have all types of stuff. I remember when they first introduced the blueprints for it. They they do have the YouTube theater, and some of the stuff is going up slowly, but the intentions of that whole Inglewood square that they have blocked off is to have 2 stadiums, shopping, basically. I think they want to build apartments there.
They do. They are building apartments
and hotels. So they want to make that kind of like its own mini downtown type area.
Can't wait for the World Cup.
Yeah,
I see a lot of videos of these that first 2 weeks of the World Cup when it's still group stage and how crazy it gets. I can't wait to see Santa Monica, Manhattan, how amazing it's going to look with all these tourists coming in and shutting the city down. Yeah.
We're not almost, but, the year 1 year out date is coming up June 11th. And I think there's going to be, that hype train is going to slowly start running up. We saw the official poster for Los Angeles released today. They're doing these Sonic IDs, where each host city is getting their own version of the World Cup theme song. So it's slowly starting that kind of World Cup hype, and it's only going to keep growing. And I think the Club World Cup is going to be part of it. But I mean, once the summer ends, man, it's going to be go time. You're going to start to see jerseys released. You're going to start to see, different sponsors start to come out. And I mean, it feels like just yesterday we were doing this for the 2022 World Cup, and we're about to be in our second World Cup cycle as a podcast, man.
Yeah, damn, that's crazy. Yeah, but I've been talking about I want the total 90 jerseys to come back. Scratch that. 94 inspired jerseys only. Okay. This whole World Cup. Let's bring it back to 94.
So you want the denim Stars and Stripes jersey?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know how that's going to work because that's an Adidas design and they're still with Nike. So I don't know if Nike is able to use that type of inspiration. I don't know how that works because I know that retro, they always go back to the retro inspired designs. I don't know how it works with it's like an inter-brand, because I guess like the Galaxy jerseys that the away kit with the black and green stripes, that was a Nike kit. And so it was done on an Adidas design. So I don't know how it works with national teams, but I guess if the Galaxy were able to do it, then maybe the U.S. will be able to too.
Man, I can't wait. That's what I'm hyped about.
Yeah.
Like
the new jerseys are always super high. And I mean, we talked about this when the latest set of kits came out, but the last few sets of U.S. jerseys haven't really done it for me. The new Mexico kits, though,
fire.
Crazy.
Umbro just came out with some windbreakers, 90s inspired windbreakers.
Yeah. Those,
man.
so those are, like, I would argue that like the tracksuits and like the off pitch wear or like the sideline wear, to me that's way
more.
Like I'm wearing this this warm up top of Venezia, and I love these more than the jerseys because they're a little bit more versatile. Like, you can wear them when it's
every
cold.
Day,
Like you can wear it to the gym. Like it's not the same as I guess you can wear the jersey to the gym, but like. It brings there's more dimension, there's more depth to it than just the jersey. So like the whole lifestyle collection around it, and I think Adidas has done a really good job with their like club.
With the Real Madrid.
Yeah. Real Madrid, United. I mean, even the MLS teams we're getting, like, have you seen the Galaxy? They got their own Adidas Originals collection, where it's the windbreaker, shorts, warm-up shirt.
I've not checked it out.
Dude, it's really cool. I think Miami got one as well. There's a handful of MLS teams that got them, but
I want a Tampa Bay Immunity windbreaker though.
Yeah. Good luck finding one of those. Dude. I think does Football Boutique have one of those?
I don't know, but I think Football Boutique, man, go find your jerseys out there, your retro jerseys. No, but I haven't found that. I looked at some online and they were like $350 or something like that. I'm like, nope.
That's
one day I'll be making that money. Hey, like and subscribe.
Hit us up. Yeah, for real. Please.
Immunity
Windbreaker. Keep watching, keep sharing. But yeah, I do think that the last few U.S. kits haven't really done it for me.
Not at all.
So going into the hosted, and they've been working on these for a few years now. So I'm sure they had in mind, like, okay, this is for 2026. Like, we need to really, really outdo ourselves
Waldo
here.
Something, dude.
Yeah, Waldo, or even if they bring back Total 90, I think that would be cool. But
because the hype around Total. Well, they did release the Total 90 shoes. So
yeah, so Total 90 is back in, like the ball. They did the ball for the Premier League. They did have the trainers that came out that were a remake of those Total 90 indoor shoes. So that stuff is back in, and
it never went out. Style.
Yeah, sure, but back in meaning like it's being made again.
Definitely.
You don't have to go like find it. Like,
the hype around the
retro.
Total 90, like, it's crazy because it will be only like to people that actually played the game and played like club or played around that time, like the uniform of, and we always talk about that, how that era was an amazing era, and now to see like influencers going into loving those shoes, and then the hype around it now is crazy. I do enjoy it though. I kind of hate it because I'm trying to get it, but it's so expensive, and I gotta join raffles. I'm not doing that.
Right. Yeah.
So but I enjoyed that it's coming back.
Honestly, like I didn't play growing up, and I remember those coming out and being like, yo, those are really cool. I remember the commercials around them, like like the like street football commercials that they were doing. So that era of like Nike soccer was really iconic, and some of the stuff that they did, with like Wayne Rooney and all the like, the players of that era was really cool to see. And now you're starting to see that cycle back. Adidas is even doing stuff with like the Team Geist ball. They just released a set of Predators that have that colorway inspired by that ball. They're doing all types of retro releases. The F50s are coming back. Like original or like remakes of the Predator models are coming out. And
bring back the Addy Pures. If you know. Bring back the Addy Pures, the Cacas.
Yeah,
man, they were the most comfortable cleats I ever had in my life. The all black.
And
fire.
those, I feel like, get skipped when people talk about, because people always talk about the Predators. The F50s are there, like the X. Remember the X?
Yeah.
Like the people still talk about those, but the Addy Pures, like they get kind of skipped in those conversations.
Those are my favorite.
Yeah. Okay, Julia. Anything else before we wrap things up here for today?
U.S. Open Cup, crazy.
Okay. Yeah. Get into it.
LAFC 2 won 7-1 against a team from Arizona, I believe. the men's team having Sasha,
AJ De La Garza,
friend of the pod, Bernie,
Feldheimer.
Why do I always call him something else? Yeah, Bernie. There's a few other retired MLS guys beating the Sporting Kansas City team 2-1. 2 penalties scored by Sasha. It was kids against. There was a part of the game. I don't know if you watched the game, but they gave him a penalty, and they were just basically saying it's like old people bias, or something like that. It was funny.
That's hilarious. I didn't watch the game, but I saw like some of the highlights, and people were talking about it. I think it's really cool that we see these kind of old timers come back and get into it and play well.
They played well. They were struggling with these kids, but experience beat the kids. Experience beat the kids. But man, just like it's a great story. That's what I like about the U.S. Open Cup. Stories like this come out and I hope they make it far.
Yeah.
I hope they knock out like 2 more teams and play an MLS team. This is crazy. These are guys that either retired or were forced to retire because they had no more of the contracts. But they're showing Phillips was on the team. He's a forward.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's like it brings back your childhood. Now they're playing against Sporting Kansas City's second team, which is like kids no older than 21. Yeah. So, but you can tell the experience. AJ put a post on Instagram. And it's something making fun of it, like how difficult it was.
Yeah.
But man, it's great. This is little stories like that I really enjoy.
The Open Cup, I feel like, needs to be like completely revamped in terms of the marketing around it, because that is truly one of the that should be the top competition. And I think MLS pulling out of that really kind of put pop the balloon on that, and I really hated that thing. I understand why they did it from their point of view. They don't want to get seen. They don't want their teams losing to lower division teams. I get that, but still, like, if you guys are so good, you shouldn't have to worry about that. And it really was just like popping, taking the air out of the competition when they pull out of something like that. But there's still, really cool stories like this. What was the San Francisco team, the burrito shop? What
little taco shop in San Francisco.
Yeah,
I forget the name.
They're always Farolito.
Yeah.
Farolito. They're always, in the tournament. They're always, they're upsetting, professional teams. So. This is to me that's like the essence of soccer. That is what
real March Madness.
Exactly. Like, you talk about March Madness, people love March Madness because of the craziness that March Madness brings. This is that in soccer form with teams of all different levels. You got semi-pro guys, you got retired guys playing. Like, it is
guys that got kicked out the league for A or B reason.
That to me, there's so many cool stories that are not being focused on or not being highlighted in the Open Cup, and you're seeing that. Because of the infrastructure of these smaller teams, they can't get a lot of fans there. The broadcasting isn't the greatest, so it's hard to highlight the tournament when things are like that. So I just wish it was a lot more hyped.
And you get stories like I believe the Atlanta Switchbacks, I think they were called. Beating MLS teams as a second division team.
Well, the Switchbacks, they won the whole thing before MLS was around.
Yes.
They won in the 90s. I think they won 2 or 3 times.
But they were upsetting once MLS teams came in. They were upsetting MLS teams. Cal United that made it far. I believe they either beat Seattle and lost to Portland, or beat Portland and lost to Seattle. Or
Sacramento made it to the final a couple of years ago.
Yeah, so
Orlando.
Little story like that, showing there's a market for different U.S. teams to make noise and make an impact in this game in U.S. soccer. So I agree with you. We got to invest more money on this cup, because the storylines, the craziness, anybody can join. It's like if you watch a movie Dodgeball. We got to win the YMCA invitation.
Exactly. And people
amazing.
love those stories.
Yeah, man, I enjoy it. Just watching, hey, this guy was in the MLS 4 years ago.
Right.
Oh, you see all these familiar faces that are now no longer pro, But like they're
or
playing,
still, grinding it out in like USL League One, you know what I mean? Like that are in their like, mid to late 30s and just like still like, like just playing for the love of the game. They could have retired, 2-3 years ago, but they're still playing for the love of the game. And, it's crazy. You love to see that.
I love it, man. So I can't wait to see more, and I'm going to stay in touch.
Yeah. Maybe we'll go out to a couple of Open Cup games. Like we went to, when did we go to the Cal United game when they played Galaxy? And they almost lost.
That was 2022.
Was that 22 or 20? That was when we first started. Yeah, it was 2022. Yeah.
2023. Yeah, but like they had one kid. I think he just signed to UC Irvine.
Yeah.
That guy.
Like he was 15 at the time. And he was cooking. Speaking of, was that Araujo?
Araujo. He was cooking out Araujo.
Yeah.
And they had some chances, man. It was great, man. Like things like that, you didn't expect that it was a 0-0 until like it was like towards the last minute.
A couple of bad penalties. It was tough.
It's great, man. It's great, and like the home fans are usually like family and friends, and they still pack out these small stadiums. So it's crazy. It's great.
Shouts to the U.S. Open Cup. Shouts to U.S. Soccer, U.S. Men's National Team. Figure it out, get it together. A lot of soccer left to be played this summer, so we'll be covering all that and more. But this has been another episode of the Urban Pitch Podcast, Beautiful Game of Life, part of the Believe Network. For William Monterosa, I'm Ramsey Abushala. We'll see you next week. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that. Share with your friends. It'll help us keep going and covering all the stuff that we love. So thank you, and we'll see you next week.
Boom.